everyone. A very warm welcome to one and all. Respected Ketan Desai sir, the Chief Patron of IMA, National President Dr. Sahajanand Prasad Singh, HSG Dr. Jayesh Lele, and a galaxy of dignitaries are here with us today to bless us during the celebration of International Women's Day, including the members of the cabinet, the leaders of the national standing committees, past national presidents, invited faculty and other dignitaries, and esteemed members of the Indian Medical Association and Women Doctors Wing. Wishing you all a very happy International Women's Day. Myself, Dr. Kavita Revi, the Secretary of IMA WDW, proudly presents before you the program organized by the Women Doctors Wing to celebrate International Women's Day. On behalf of the entire team of the organizing committee, I extend our heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you for your presence. Let's start with the IMA prayer. May everybody be happy. May everybody be healthy. May everybody be free from pain. May everybody be free from sorrow. May we be the healing cure beyond every greed and lure. Now the flag salutation. We, the members of Indian Medical Association, stand here to salute our national flag. Its honor and glory shall be our light and strength, and its course shall be our course. We pledge our allegiance to it, and realizing our responsibilities as the accredited members of this national organization, we swear we will dedicate everything in our power to see it fly high in the Committee of Nations. Jai Hind, long live IMA. This day, the 8th, once again paying respects to Dr. Ketan Desai sir and our National President Dr. Sahajanand Prasad Singh and our Honorary Secretary General Dr. Jayesh Lele sir for permitting us and giving all support to make this program happen. This day, the 8th of March 2022, the whole world celebrates womanhood and women's achievements. It's been a century since we started observing International Women's Day and propagating women empowerment and gender equality. Still, the road to leadership for women is arduous and the pace is much slower than anticipated. Though the women constitute over 70% of the workforce in healthcare system, they remain the minority in the global health leadership. To have a brainstorming on this subject, we have organized a symposium on the topic, Empowered Women Leadership in Medical Profession in India. This program has been scheduled minute to minute, so we humbly request all the faculty to keep the time. A humble request to all the audience to please keep your mics mute and also to put your names as your profile. Comments or suggestions may please be posted in the chat box, which will be taken up during the open house discussion. So without much ado, let us start the symposium. To present the prologue, I invite our efficient and elegant chairperson, Dr. Meena Vangetkar, Madam. Dr. Meena Vangetkar, Madam, is a practicing family physician since 34 years. She is currently the National Chairperson of IMA WDW and also the member of Socio-Medical Affairs Committee of WMA, past National Chairperson of the Family Forum of IMA Headquarters, past National Joint Secretary of IMA CGP, past member of the Election Commission of IMA Maharashtra, and the past president of IMA Dhule branch. She has received various awards at the state and national level and is also very active in community services. She has worked in maternal childhood programs, conducted numerous medical camps, started Shed Shivar Davakhana on her farm for laborers, and also has done the MediSim scheme and the Guru Run Yojana. She has also conducted EveCon, the Maharashtra IMA Women Conference, and also the Sports and Cultural Festival Unmesh, and the Young Medicos Convention, Yo Medicon, National CGP, Governing Council meeting, and again, the prestigious WIMELS. She has very interest in farming, and she has actively cultivated an organic farm on a previously barren land. She's also interested in trekking and traveling, and she has a very loving family, with her husband being none other than the most lovable person, our past national president, Dr. Ravi Wangetkar sir. So over to you, ma'am, for the forward to present the prologue for today's symposium.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, in my humble capacity as the chairperson of Women Doctors Wing of Indian Medical Association, with great pleasure, I accord very warm and best wishes to one and all on this International Women's Day. This initiative, under which vital aspects pertaining to the women empowerment would be taken up for intricate discussion, threadbare by leading lady professionals in the country and the world and abroad, is a real observance of the commemorable day. It is a moment of extreme pride and pleasure for me to welcome and thank Dr. Heidi Stensmiren, President of the World Medical Association, a young and dynamic personality, a woman who is disciplined and driven, open-minded and inspiring, persistent and tenacious, passionate and loving, and hence a role model of a truly empowered woman leader for us to look up to. We are always honored to have the blessings of Dr. Ketan Desai sir, the past president of the World Medical Association, the Medical Council of India, and the Indian Medical Association. He himself is a great champion of women and women doctors, amply demonstrated by his vision to assign a woman doctor, Mrs. Jayashreeban Mehta, as the president of Medical Council of India. Our very humble, pious, and peace-loving National President, Dr. Sarjanand Prasad Singh, our diligent and sincere Secretary General, Dr. Jayesh Lele, a guru, mentor, and a father figure to me, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir, a senior gynecologist and past president of FOXY, Dr. Shanthakumari madam, a young dynamic leader, a marathon runner, and an epitome of balancing work, family, and personal hobbies, Dr. Erica Patel, past chairpersons of IMA Women Doctors Wing, Dr. Mona Desai madam, Dr. Yashoda madam, from whom I seek blessings, cooperation, and guidance. My entire dedicated team of Women Doctors Wing and friends, I warmly welcome you all to this symposium. With all conviction at my disposal, I would like to reiterate with emphasis that empowering women amounts to empowering mankind and humanity alike. It is in this vein, it is imperative and inevitable that gender equality in India, although guaranteed by the Constitution, continues to remain a far cry. Realistically speaking, it is no more a moral pressure or a social issue, but in realistic sense, it is the social and economic challenges before the society as a whole. It has to be borne in mind that equality leads to human development and overall development of the nation as a whole. And India being one full of achievements, yet it lacks in the domain of gender equality in not only a palpable manner, but in substantial magnitude. It is true that our country discriminatory attitudes towards females have existed since generations. Gender disparities continue to live in our society, making women its victim. In the land where women are worshipped as goddess, the same nation leaves a huge blot of atrocity and equality in women in all strata. It is a sad truth that prevails over the Indian society. Gender equality in India is the desired state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities, including economic participation, decision-making, and valuing different behaviors, aspirations, and needs equally regardless of the gender. Thus, gender equality is all about equal footing in all walks of life as a part of actualization of fundamental right guaranteed in the Indian Constitution, which is the foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and a sustainable society anywhere and everywhere, and thereby catering to the development of the whole world. It is imperative to decipher the difference between gender equity, gender equality, and women's empowerment. Gender equity is a phenomena of being fair to women and men because equity leads to equality. Gender equality mostly requires equal enjoyment of women and men of socially valued goods, opportunities, resources, and rewards. Where gender equality rules the roost, women are invariably excluded or disadvantaged in decision-making and having handy access to economical and social resources. A critical aspect, therefore, for promoting gender equality turns out to be a women's empowerment focusing on reducing and redressing imbalances, giving women more power to manage their lives and the society as a whole. This is the context that autonomy turns out to be mandated requirement of development and emancipation as an inalienable right. Achieving gender equality requires women's empowerment to ensure that decision-making at personal and public levels, including access to social and economic resources, are easily available on the basis of the cardinal rule that men and women need to participate as equal partners in productive life of any and every form. India has the highest levels of sex discrimination at birth. Right from woman to tomb, a woman faces gender inequality in every stage of life, inter alia, every step of life. As a result of this prevailing scenario, India ranks 112th among 153 countries in terms of Global Gender Gap Index for the year 2020. And the tragedy is that India has gained ascendancy from 108th position in the previous year to 110th in the position in the 2020. As a matter of fact, in 2008, India was at 98th place. Resultantly, as of now, we are rated below China, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Brazil, Indonesia, and Bangladesh as well. As a matter of fact, the significant causes of gender disparity turn out to be poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, social customs, taboos, beliefs, and anti-female attitude as the front-ranking causes. It needs to be noted that McKinsey Global Institute has brought out a scientifically projected analysis that improving women's status and initiating gender equality in India could add $12 trillion to global growth. Increasing women's workforce participation by 10% could add $700 billion to the GDP of India by 2025. And this should be taken as an ample proof that how significant valuing females is vital and essential towards creation of a prosperous and vibrant society in India. Same applies to the medical profession in our country. In the recent past, there has been a feminization of the medical profession in our country. More than 50% doctors in our country are women. The Indian Medical Association has to take notice of this and assign more executive postings within it. As we are approaching the centenary year in 2028, it will be a golden moment if IMA can have a woman as its national president. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on endlessly, but my onus is to make the ball rolling as a prologue for required facilitation of discussion and deliberations to follow. I am sure at the end of the day, we definitely would be able to invoke a decisive direction to be pursued on this vital count in the interest of women and femininity as a whole. I record my humble thankfulness and gratitude to the National President, to the Honorary Secretary General, and other office bearers of IMA headquarters for rising to the occasion to cater to this larger cause in such a meaningful manner, which depicts their concern and open-heartedness on this vital issue. A special thanks to Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir for his guidance and my entire Women Doctors Wing team and the IMA headquarters staff for their untiring efforts to make this program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. 1 second. Next, we'll have the presidential address by our respected National President, Dr. Sahajanand Prasad Singh. I still cherish the memories of the hospitality extended to us by Sahajanand Prasad Singh and his team during the national conference at Patna. Dr. Singh is a Dr. B.C. Roy awardee, member of the National Medical Commission, Registrar of the Bihar Medical Council. He's a professor of surgery by his specialty, that's surgery is his specialty, and also the past chief election commissioner of the IMA headquarters and past state president of IMA Bihar and recipient of many, many national awards. With immense respect, I invite you for the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita, madam. Good afternoon, all the beautiful and many ladies. Wishing you all very happy International Women's Day. Honorable President of World Medical Association, Dr. Heidi, our mentor, guide, and past President of WMA, Dr. Ketan Desai sir, SSG Dr. Lele, National Chairperson of IMA, Women Dr. Wing, Dr. Meena Manikar Madam, Co-Chairperson Dr. Neelam Madam, Dr. Bharti, Secretary Dr. Kapta Madam, Coordinator Dr. Deeta, Dr. Learned faculty of today's symposium, our guide Dr. Prakash Mishra sir, past National President of Foxy Dr. S Chanthakumari Madam, and energetic Dr. Erica Patel, past chairpersons of WDW, and the dynamic Dr. Mona Madam, and Dr. Jashoda Madam, all the other office bearers of the IMA WDW, all other women leaders and delegates, I welcome you all on behalf of Indian Medical Association. I congratulate the entire team of IMA WDW for arranging this symposium of the excellent and much needed topic of empowered women leadership in the medical profession in India. The topic and speakers selected are very relevant, and I am sure at the end of this symposium, we will not only be enlightened, but we will get different directions on way ahead. The theme of companion of this year Women's Day is Break the Bias. We all male leaders should follow this theme and remove all biases toward our sisters, women, play a very important role on the life of any man, woman, mother to sister, to wife, to daughter, and daughter-in-law, and granddaughters. Man is incomplete without or woman. In medical profession, also, we see maximum women workforce. We need to take note of it and promote them in all possible ways. They will very sincere and hardworking. In IMA also, we are saying that there are many upcoming dynamic women leaders. They need to nurture and promote it. They do not need any special favor or reservation, but it is important that they should not be discriminated because they are women. They manage their families, professional duties, still find time energy to work efficiently for IMA. We also should always remember this fact. I was national president, promises to all women leaders that we will get all possible help in the managing of various activities. Whatever problem we will have, my team at headquarters will always there to solve them. I also appeal to all my state and local leaders to do the same. Once again, I welcome you all and wish this program a grand success. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So, as one of our faculty has to leave shortly for another physical meeting, with the permission of the Honorary Secretary General, we have changed a program. There is a slight change in the program schedule. Thank you, sir. So now we'll have the talk on the way forward by a woman leader who has definitely come a very long way forward. She is none other than Dr. S Chanthakumari, the doyen in the field of obstetrics and gynecology. Dr. Chanthakumari, MD, DNB, FICOG, FRCP Ireland, and FRCOG from UK. She is currently the treasurer of FIGO. In fact, the first Indian to become the treasurer of the FIGO. She was the president last year of FOXY 2021 to 2022. She is a senior consultant, OB gynecologist and laparoscopic surgeon at the Yashoda Hospitals, Hyderabad. She has served in various positions in all the associations and organizations of the Obstetrics and Gynecological Society. She is an expert and a very, very famous and popular personality in the field of infertility too. She has organized many national and international conferences and has many major awards and achievements to his credit. With great pride and respect, I invite Dr. S Chanthakumari to deliver her talk on the way forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I bring greetings from FOXY as the President FOXY, a 38,000 strong body of OB-GYNs, and as a treasurer of FIGO, the International Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology, with our presence in 132 countries. We are the global voice of women. I would like to give my regards to Professor Dr. Ketan Desai, sir, who is the chief patron of our program and whom we are very familiar with. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here to share the dais with our own IMA president, Dr. Sahajananda Prasad Singh, sir, Dr. Jayashli Le, Dr. Anil Goyal, and of course, I have to specially thank the IMA Women Wing, the very dynamic team, Meena Wankhedar, Neelam Mishra, Bharti Kashyap, and Kavita Ravi. And I see my own Erica, who is also part of the team. It's indeed a pleasure to be here, and I would like to first wish everyone a happy International Women's Day. And we should actually thank all our men who for being with us, partnering with us to see that we have gender equality and gender parity. Thank you very much for joining us to celebrate the Women's Day. Friends, FOXY, we have the theme FOXY for all, always, and Dhira, Stop Violence Against Women. We are the people who take care of women's health. The OB-GYNs are responsible for the women's health, and I really would like to congratulate each and every member of our country who has been working very hard to reduce the maternal mortality and morbidity rate of our country. We have with us Dr. Sampath Rao, who is our IMA Telangana State President, also who has joined us. And I would like to put on record that IMA is the parent body of all of us, whether we are surgeons, gynecologists, pediatricians, any other specialty. The core, the parent organization is IMA, and we are so happy to be together with you on this Women's Day. We're talking about leadership. What is it that we are looking at? Why do we need leaders? Why do we expect women to be leaders? Friends, if we have to reach the SDG goals 2030, if we have to reduce the maternal mortality and morbidity, if we have to see that the country has to reach the best of its health or wealth, what is it is needed? What is needed is the participation of women. When you look at reaching anything, it is the SDG 3 and 5, health and gender equality, which is so very vital. And when you invest on the woman, you are investing in the family and of course the society. Automatically, I think the whole system is on the roll. I'm sure all of you will agree with me that all of you have strong mothers. I think it is the strong mothers which has made all of you successful doctors, and whatever you are in your profession. You don't need anything else to actually focus on the importance of leadership in women. Dr. Yashoda will agree with me. Each and every member of the society, if they have to thank anyone, it would be the women in the family, starting from their mother and of course their siblings and later the wife, or it can be any other woman who can influence you. When you talk about strong women, we talk about strong leadership, and women are the most vital part for forming any sort of protocols or activity which you want to take across the country. We have seen that, unfortunately, even today, violence against women has been predominant, and COVID pandemic has shown that this violence against women has become a silent pandemic in these days. Friends, as a FIGO member of No to War way back in 2015, I launched the initiative of Dhira. Dhira means courage. Courage is an initiative to say no to violence against women. We did partner with the police, the SHE teams, the National Commission for Women, the men and women of the society, and most important, why is it that OB-GYNs should be involved? Friends, we are the first point of contact for any woman who has a problem. She will not go to the police or the politician or a lawyer first. She goes to her friendly gynec madam, Amma. So that was the reason why we started this program, because we started an advocacy. I wanted my OB-GYNs to become empathetic to this Dhira, no to violence against women. So we can give them the courage. They may come to us with pain, white discharge, or any other problem, but see what is behind them, because this violence contributes to the maternal ill health and violence against women. So that is an initiative which I'm looking forward for everyone to partner. We need to partner with men, then only we'll be able to achieve a difference. So that is the most important core of a woman's health. When I've taken over as the president, as president of Foxy now, we have initiated the Dhira online school certification program in partnership with UNICEF India. I thought the most important thing is we have to catch them young. This course is for 9th to 12th class students. Across the country, we have trained about 1,500 master trainers in our Foxy members, and we have started with about 195 schools have already started. This 2-hour course tells them about what violence is, simple language. We are not going to adolescent education or sexual education or anything, but tell them why we need to understand about war, so that if a girl sees a mother or somebody being affected by violence, she should not grow up thinking it's okay to accept it. And no boy, even if he has seen his father or a neighbor do some violence on a woman, should not grow up thinking it is okay to do violence, so that we grow up in a more gender neutral society. Yes. I've just heard a statement. One of our friends, colleagues has said, we're looking forward for the IMA president. Friends, I would like to ask you, we are so strong. Who is there to stop us? I don't think we need anyone to show us the way. We are the leaders in our own way. I think definitely yes. IMA will have a lot of women leaders and a lot of presidents, I'm sure, because India is way forward. We are more empowered than any other country across the globe. When I see the FLASOG, the Latin American, the European or American countries, let me tell you, women, we are more empowered. Way back in 1970s, we had the MTP Act to actually reiterate the sexual and reproductive rights of women. And friends, in 21, it was amended by our government. What more do you need? And there are countries even today, the so-called advanced, the so-called leaders of the world, who are criminalizing abortion, who are not giving the women their respectful care, their respectful sexual and reproductive rights. So I think women in India are very lucky, and we are the leaders of the world. And I'm sure globally, we are a strong voice, and people need to look at us to follow in the right way. Wish you all the best. And thank you for having me here. Apologies, because I have a physical program happening in Hyderabad. I had to come in early. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those words from your heart, as always, very clearly and very effectively communicated. And hearty congrats and best wishes for all your social activities.
I think, Kavita, I would like to invite our own Dr. Sahajananda Prasad sir, who is our IMA president. He's our president. Finally, we have only one president, that is Sahajananda sir. We want you to partner with us, Foxy members, to take forward the Dhira online school, so that every school in the country should have this program, and later the ministry should make it a mandatory course for the curriculum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. And now I request our national president and HSD to hand over the oration award to Chanthakumari madam virtually. Madam, please accept our award.
Thank you very much.
Sending it to you later.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So next is the address by our Honorary Secretary General, Dr. Jayesh Lele. Jayesh Lele, sir. So we always say that behind every successful man, there is a woman. But today, I would say that behind the success of this program is this man, our HSD, Dr. Jayesh Lele, sir. Though I said the quote, he was always with us, in front of us, leading us, and paying attention to each and every matter in the organization of this program. Jayesh Lele sir is a senior family physician. He's a member of the Maharashtra Medical Council, past National Secretary of the IMA HBI, past State President of IMA Maharashtra, past Secretary of IMA Maharashtra, and recipient of multiple state and national awards. With immense respect and love, I invite you, sir, for your address. Over to you, Jayesh sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kavita. Our respected guidance which we received from Dr. Ketan Desai sir, our National President Dr. Sahajanan Prasad Singh, who has given us the complete liberty to arrange this program. Our Dr. Meena Wankhedkar, Chairman for this Women Doctors Wing, past National President and the World Medical Association Treasurer Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, Dr. Mona Desai, Dr. Yashoda, Dr. Bharti Kashyap, and Dr. Kavita, and Dr. all leaders in this, all lady speakers, and our respected Ved sir, who is always guiding us on all topics, whether it's a conference, whether it's a medical legal, whether it's a medical age. Today is a very important day. Let me congratulate and wish all the lady doctors, all the ladies in the entire universe and entire our IMA, my best wishes. I've been greetings from the Indian Medical Association headquarters. Everywhere today some programs are going to occur, and then as we discussed it with Dr. Ravi sir and Dr. Meena, we were planning to have this activity in the headquarters, but then we thought that since it's a midweek and the attendance will be little less, so we thought that let us go on Zoom platform and make the arrangements. And so we could devise this program in a very short while, and of course all the topics and where speakers were selectively chosen. And I'm going to definitely say that this is a very important, and this is going to be the remarkable event in our entire history. All our speeches are so important, and which will be recorded and put onto our program. Already they are live streaming. I can see n number of doctors, lady doctors. I'm continuously getting the phone calls. Those who are finding it difficult, and we are trying to manage them. And I'm sure it will go forward. We at IMA have been doing a lot of work, but at the same time, we are respecting ladies, and definitely the ladies have become the part of our organization. Every small bit by bit, and every place we see that their management, their courage, and their definitely the importance is being created. And I'm sure, as Dr. Meena said, that sometime the lady president will be there. We do not know when, but yes, definitely we hope that the lady president should be there again after maybe 40 years, when one lady speaker was there at the headquarters. Second thing, I must congratulate the entire team that this entire program has been very well. My entire IT team is looking after this. And from my headquarters side, I will be always available for any programs. Yesterday only myself and Dr. Meena and our sir were there. We thought that we have 3-4 wings coming together, and like a medical child, then MCH and women doctors wing, Mission Pink Health. So we thought that we will try and work out that every team, what it needs to be done collectively or what it needs to be done separately also. Because every standing committee has been given some definitely dedicated work. But yes, there is definitely certain portion is overlapping, and we will be definitely taking the help of the other standing committees and make the program success. For example, Women Doctors Wing is there, and there is a cancer awareness program which Dr. Bharti Kashyap is doing, cervical cancer is doing. Then naturally, this our cancer standing committee also should be pitch in and have the collective and a larger scope. Our intention is IMA should reach every person, every doctor of India, and we should give the good program. We should give the our commitment to the community, which we have seen during the last 2 years. Nearly 1900 doctors have lost their lives fighting corona. Fortunately, today we are in a much better position, and the credit goes to all our doctors, because worldwide our doctors are recognized, and I'm sure this will go a long way. Once again, I bring greetings to the entire community. I bring greetings from the entire programs, and I'm sure the program will be a grand success. Thank you very much, Dr. Meena, Dr. Kavita, and Dr. Bharti, and Dr. Mona Desai, sir, and Namaskar, with sir. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Rekha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. So now we'll have the lead oration on model women leadership by yet another strong and eminent personality, Dr. Heidi Stensmiren, the president of the World Medical Association. We, the Women Doctors Wing, we are indeed honored to have your presence in today's symposium. Madam, has she joined? Meena, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
She has not joined? Okay.
No, she has not joined.
Yeah, I had a doubt, so that's why I asked. So we'll go for the next one, Meena, ma'am.
Okay, she'll be joining in another half an hour, Kavita.
Okay, so we'll come back, madam. So now, Dr. Erica, madam, you are here. Erica Patel, ma'am, are you
Yes, she
here?
has joined.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the next talk is on youthful aspirations for leadership by our lovely lady, Dr. Erica Patel, who is the chairperson of the Community Service Project, as well as the Safe Motherhood Committee. We have all visualized her ability as an organizer during the Safe Motherhood Week. We celebrated over 7 days, last July 1st to 7th. Madam Erica went to the Dr. D.Y. Patel Medical College, Mumbai for her MBBS, which she passed with 8 distinctions. Thereafter, she went on to pursue her MS in obstetrics and gynecology from Sumandeep University, Gujarat, and topped with a gold medal. She is amongst the first few in India to have completed MCH Reproductive Medicine and Surgery from Sri Ramachandra University, Chennai, again with a gold medal. She has done her observership from Boston, IVF, Harvard University, and Michigan IVF, counted amongst the best 4 IVF. She has also received training in andrology and male infertility from the University of Miami. She is currently a fertility consultant at the ART Fertility Clinics, Chennai, and also pursuing her PhD in reproductive medicine. She is at present the chairperson of the Safe Motherhood Committee of IMA, as well as the Community Services Project. And she's a member of the Infertility Committee of FOXY. So we are really, we want to hear from such a great academician about youthful aspirations. I'm sure your talk will lift the resilience and energy in the youth. Over to you, ma'am, for your talk.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Kavita ma'am. And big thank you to Sajanand sir and Lele sir, Ravi sir and Meena ma'am, and also Ved Prakash sir for giving me this opportunity to talk on such a big forum. So, youthful aspirations for leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel that youth is that prime age of life which is totally enriched with vigor, vitality, determination, and enthusiasm altogether. History bears a testimony that most of the changes in various walks of life that the world has witnessed are totally attributed to the youth, which is full of initiatives of young minds. They're filled with passion, they're filled with commitment, knowing not to rest unless and until they've achieved the exact goal that they wanted to attain. It is in this perspective that it is very imperative to decipher that the youth is expected to be given its legitimate share of leading from the front so that the total potential that is vested in them and the aspirations are harbored in a meaningful manner. This cannot just be a wishful thought. This requires a realization, a very mature kind of understanding and mindfulness to give that opportunity to very young minds, wherein they are able to harness and project themselves in a very branded manner. I know it for certain that when I'm putting this across before this learned gathering, I am aware that this transition is not going to be free-flowing and automatic in nature. It will mandate a large-heartedness and realization that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has so nicely said that the society would be the most unfortunate society which would not be in a position to put the wings of the youthful minds on fire by igniting them for a purposive and a larger cause. So it is only the ignited mind which would be in a position to put fire to the wings of the youth. How to achieve and attain the same is a million-dollar question. Will this require the youth to demonstrate themselves at each and every walk of life or on the set count? To this, my answer is that same has been aptly demonstrated up to a number of times in practically each and every walk of life. But still, the required ambience in the form of providence to the youth to manifest its own leadership is a far cry. This is primarily because what happens is it is always thought that the young mind needs more time to mature, more time to learn, to repel, and therefore there would be an appropriate time when the said honors and responsibility would be handed over to them when they are older. But then this is a very convenient myth, and that is Harvard, whereby the approach of not a denial in the realistic sense, but a delay, which is consequential on practically all occasions. So delayed opportunity is as much as a lost opportunity, and what is lost in the name of the said avoidable delay turned out to be a heavy, unremarkable regret, but then they do not generate anything significant or worthwhile. So I am sure the Indian Medical Association, as a very meaningful forum, has rightly taken the decisive steps in this direction. We can see many of our youth leaders giving positions, giving opportunities to show what they can do and to show their powers and to show what their minds can do. And they have taken, the IMA has rightly taken the decisive steps in this direction, which are genuinely laudable. They let it flourish to gain its realistic achievements and thereby bringing out youthful leadership encompassing both the genders for creation and beautification of the world. Thank you so much. And I am very, very thankful that IMA, the past presidents, the present president, the entire women doctors wing, everybody in every community have given all the youth a lot of freedom to show their ideas and to showcase their ideas. And I'm sure that will take IMA to a great higher level. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Erica. As I said in the beginning, like you have ignited the fire. So very inspiring and very motivating. Okay, so thank you so much. 1 second. Thank you. And please accept our oration award from the National President and HSG. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. So now we'll go on to the next talk, Domesticity versus Profession, by our beloved Dr. Neelam Mishra, the co-chairperson of Women Doctors Wing. 1 second, because of the people entering, I'm not able to see the top part of my screen. It comes as somebody entering. So 1 second, I didn't introduce, no? Please allow me to share my screen.
No, you can share, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. The top part, I'm not seeing Dr. Neelam Mishra, ma'am. Let's just 1 second. Yeah. She is the Vice Chancellor of Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences, deemed to be University at Karal. She's a National Head of Allied Sciences and the Bioethics Program. She is in the Bioethics Program of UNESCO Chair Haifa, Honorary IMA Professor at the IMA National Headquarters, New Delhi, Professor Emeritus, Bareilly International University at Uttar Pradesh, Professor Emeritus, Director Professor, former Pro Vice Chancellor at Detta Mekhe Institute of Medical Sciences, and so many credits. She is also the Fellow of Association of Medical Specialties India, FCGP. So there is no wonder that she has so many academic qualifications, and she too is a scholar because she has a great husband, a renowned scholar, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir. Again, with lots of love and respect, I invite Madam for your talk. Over to you, Neelam ma'am.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to all respected. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, ma'am. You
A
are.
very good afternoon to all respected persons. With due respect to Dr. Ketan Desai sir, our dear President, Dr. Sahajanand sir, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir, and WDW Chairperson, Dr. Meena Wankhekar madam, and all respected persons, Dr. Ravi sir, Dr. Kashyap madam, all respected persons and beautiful ladies present over here. The topic is domesticity versus profession. Myself, Dr. Neelam Mishra, I have given with this topic. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This topic is women in medicine. This presentation was very low before the country gained independence. So at the time, the number of ladies were very less. Now more women than men enroll in medical colleges. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. This what the India's first women, the price that India's first women paid to the barriers. Anandibai Joshi, Kanambini Ganguly, Rukmabai Raut, Hematai, Sen, Muthulakshmi Reddy, and Anna Marian Punun Lukase. Or these great ladies, they were born in 19th century. Please, next slide. So the challenges faced by younger women physicians do not disappear with age or seniority. They just change their form, or they are just modified. Issues such as balancing family, this is the most important one, work responsibilities, combating harassment and bias, and the denial of opportunities are some. Please, next slide. How big a deal was marriage? So my whole presentation, what I have taken the points I have taken from the research papers already published in journals. So according to some references, they told that marriage has not adversely affected their career. But in some, the choices of specialization is influenced in varying degree because another person's life and career closely intertwined with their own. But that you can say the specialization of one, it is affecting ours life. In happiest state of affairs, almost everyone acknowledged considerable support from their spouse. Few had problems and faced opposition from in-laws rather than the husband. Next slide, please. In some, according to some references, not marriage, but children were the issue. Nowadays, we are having a nuclear families. In old days, the joint families were there. So many helping hands were there for children. But now in nuclear family, the husband's responsibilities increased. Now question arises, is career just a means of earning money? What about your own self-worth? Uncounted hours of study spent in obtaining this degree. What about that? What about professional satisfaction? Next slide, please. Interestingly, the biological clock is a great contributor to choices and lost opportunities. Just after the age, second 5 years, after 25 to 30 years, that age, arrival of children usually coincides with the time one must make a choice of specialization in their career. This is the God's law, what we can say. Some kept their, according to some references, some ladies, they kept their career on hold for a few years for kids. Then afterwards, they resumed their career. But in this research paper, the author says in her survey, 10% reach the potential, 70 to 75% have reasonably satisfying career, and 15 to 20% give up or forced to make compromises in their career. Next slide, please. Women and medicine. But medicine is a male-dominated field, and there is a large imbalance in leadership position for women. Here, I must mention that I hold a leadership position, and this leadership position, main credit is because of the support and help and able guidance provided to me by my dear husband, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir. Not everybody is so lucky. Not everyone is so lucky. I thank God for this. Mutual cooperation, help, understanding, and cooperation, this all helps the existing, and for this, the existing situation is important. I too have given first preference to my kid and family. Next slide, please. We women, physicians do it better. According to some papers, the recent paper published in JAMA, Internal Medicine, it shows that the patients treated by female physicians have statistically low morbidity rate, no mortality rate, and lower readmission rate. Slowly, we are taking over. Since 2015, number of female enrollees has grown up by 9.6%, and for males, it has declined by 2.3%. Next slide, please. Balancing personal and professional life is never easy. The raging pandemic in 2020 made life hard for women, healthcare professionals who were assigned COVID-19 duties. Dr. Shruti Tandon, consultant critical care, Jeslock Hospital and Research says that during pandemic, she ceased to be a wife, she ceased to be a mother, she ceased to be a daughter or daughter-in-law. She says that she was only a critical care physician. Next slide, please. Dr. Shruti lost her own maternal uncle in her own ICU. It was a big shock to her. And she decided once COVID is over, I will quit the job, this profession I will quit. But her brother came to her emotional rescue that in that low phase and asked her to continue with the job. And remember that next patient could be someone's uncle too. Next slide, please. This was covered by India Today TV on the occasion of International Women's Day, when they spoke to some female doctors in Mumbai who shared their emotion on what the past 1 year has been like. Next slide, please. Compared to male physicians, female physicians are more likely to get divorced. Working longer hours for them means higher chances for divorce. Whereas for male doctors, working longer hours actually decreases the divorce rate. So longer working hours for male, it is beneficial, not for the ladies. The women physicians may experience negative psychological states like depression and burnout more than the male counterparts. Chances of suicide thoughts increases. Work-family conflict a larger degree than their male counterparts. So for this, I want to say more intelligent and more lady, when she want to speak her frank opinion, more chances of divorce are there. She cannot freely express her opinion. After every storm, the sun must sooner or later come out. The reign of female inequality in medicine is slowly but surely reaching its end. Next slide, please. I would like to give rest to my words with this sentence. The more you can help, the more we can do. Thank you everyone for patient listening and giving me this opportunity to express my words. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Of course, work-life balance, no, it is always a challenge for every woman. And I like the point you said, like if men work longer, the divorce rate will be less. I think it's true.
It's true.
So thank you very much, madam, for that lucid presentation. Now, please accept our award, Oration Award from the National President NHST.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So now we'll have the next talk by our immediate past chairperson of Women Doctors Wing, Dr. L. Yashoda, on broad experiences. Madam was my guiding force, my guiding light during the last 1 year as a chairperson of Women Doctors Wing, and I had a very good time listening to her advices and directions in running the Women Doctors Wing. She is at present the National Advisor of IMA, WDW, the convener of the National Community Services Project, and she has a very long 35 years of practice at Tambram as a family physician. She has held various posts and has worked at various levels in the local branch, state and national levels. And she has got many awards from the national, state and branch IMA. So over to you, ma'am, for your talk on broad experience.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita, for your lovely words. Good afternoon to one and all. My respects and namaste to Dr. Ketan Desai sir, to the National President, Dr. Sahadan ji. I'm seeing you now here, sir. I'm so happy. And I'm also delighted to come for this program, President sir. My namaste and wishes to HSD, Dr. Jayesh Lile sir, Dr. Anil Gohel sir, Dr. Ravi Vankekar sir, who is really a beloved brother for me, who has brought the empowerment of women in Tamil Nadu in 2016. Because of that, we have all grown together. My special wishes to Dr. Meena Vankekar ji, Dr. Veda Prakash ji, Dr. Neelam Mishra, Dr. Mona ji. She is also, actually, we have learned lots from Dr. Mona ji and Dr. Neeta, and Dr. Bharati from Jharkhand, Dr. Erica Patel, and my beloved friend, Dr. Kavita, who was very close to me. Last 1 year, we worked together, and I am very happy Women's Day to all the multifaceted leaders of every state. I take this pleasure to wish all of you. Today is the day when every woman is celebrating. For her is the noble qualities of womanhood she is celebrating. Celebrating womanhood in just a day of 8th March is like putting everything into a nutshell. It's not enough for us. The role of a woman at home we see, at a work we see, at a workplace, to the society and to the nation cannot be quantified in just a few lines. That's what I feel. It is with great pride that I stand before you all and also remember all those women who have made a mark in our lives. Women empowerment, the very term means giving power or opportunities to women to have equal participation and personal development in par with men. This includes education and healthcare too. India's journey in women empowerment has had its highs and lows. The Indian government has created space for international agencies to work with state governments, local non-government organizations, and private cooperation to support women from different socio-economic backgrounds. The main aim of formulating domestic policies is end gender equality, which is the theme for
Ma'am, can't hear you, ma'am.
The main aim of formulating domestic policies is end gender equality. Women in India are emerging in all sectors, including politics, business, medicine, sports, and agriculture. Indian women who become models of empowerment, we should not forget our Mother Teresa, our Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Kalpana Chawla, the recent Ram Noorji, the CEO of Pepsi, Aishwarya Roy, and Priyanka Chopra be a mode of empowerment. And today, it's a Women's Day. I feel women as such. W stands for wonderful wife. O stands for outstanding friend. M stands for marvelous daughter. A stands for adorable sister. N stands for nurturing mother. So with all this, I'm so happy you have given me this opportunity for joining this program. Thank you, Sir, National President, HSG, Sir, and all, Dr. Meena Wankekar. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, madam. You are indeed an adorable sister. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So please accept the Oration Award given to you by the National President and the HST. Thanks once again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kavita. Thank you. Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the next talk on critical appraisal by Dr. Mona Desai, the past chairperson of WDW. In fact, the founder chairperson of Women Doctors Wing, a very efficient, very bold lady who always strongly advocates break the bias even before this slogan come into place this year. Dr. Mona Desai is a practicing pediatrician and neonatologist since 32 years in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. She's a member of the Action Committee of the IMA. At present, she's a state chairperson of Gujarat State Branch of IMA, Women Doctors Wing. immediate past national chairperson of IMA WDW, chairperson of IMA Ahmedabad WDW, immediate past president of IMA Ahmedabad, medico-socio advisor in WMA, and member of executive committee of CIMAO. And she has received so many awards and accolades. So we are indeed honored to have you before as the chairperson and now as a faculty today to speak on critical appraisal. Over to you, ma'am. Mona, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Kavita, for a wonderful introduction. Our national president, Dr. Sajanand sir, our patron, Dr. Ketan sir, our honorary secretary general, Dr. Lele sir, and WDW chairperson, Dr. Meena, and Dr. Neelam Mishra, ma'am, and Dr. Bharti Kashyap, and yes, adorable and hardworking Dr. Kavita, honorary secretary of Women Doctors Wing, and our very respected Dr. Ray Prakash sir, Dr. Ravi Vanketkar sir, who has always been there for us, and all the dignitaries of IMA, all the office bearers, and all the beautiful ladies and all the chairpersons and secretaries of Women Doctors Wing and members of IMA who are listening. First of all, at this juncture, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to give my oration. I think with Prakash sir, you must be the person who must have selected this subject for me. Critical appraisal. From when I got the subject, I realized it must be you, sir. Thank you so much for having faith in me. I hope I would do justice to this wonderful subject. Can you do the presentation? Can I get the presentation, please? The slides? Mr. Sachin, can you show the presentation? Yes. No, the first slide. The first slide. This is the third one.
First slide.
Yes. Thank you so much. So today, as already been said, I'm going to talk about critical appraisal of women empowerment. Everybody is talking about women empowerment. And we all believe that, yes, now women are empowered. And we always hear from all men's voice from, they always go on saying that why do you need a Women's Day? Every day is a Women's Day. But then I think, sir, it is not so. Because if it was really a Women's Day, I think there would not have been this day and we would not be celebrating it as a Women's Day. Next slide, please. So what is empowerment as such? Empowerment refers to a situation where the powerless gains greater control over resources and ideologies to achieve more economic, political, and social access. Next. So what is women empowerment? Women empowerment is defined as a change in context of a woman's life, which enables her increased capacity to lead a fulfilling human life. So every woman lives a life. I think so many women just exist. They don't live. But when this existence is changed into living, I think then a real woman empowerment has been instilled in her life. So the capacities to have this women empowerment are external and internal. First, we will go into external capacities. Next, please. So external capacities are what? A woman who is having access and freedom to her health issues, to her education. She can move around, freedom of mobility. See, these are the things which is so good in all the females who are hearing this webinar. But if you go into rural areas, if you go into and see in the society, these things are a big question for all these women. The status in the family, though they have been married for years and years, though they become a grandma, still, what is the status in their family? The participation in decision making, all these things still have a big question mark for women empowerment. They are not empowered for any of this. They cannot take their own decisions or think about all the subjects on their own and don't think what is good or bad. They have to listen to others. Next, please. These are the internal capacities, what would bring a women empowerment, and that is self-awareness. Do you think these women are self-aware what is really good for them? And do they have that self-confidence to take a decision if given a chance? These women are not knowing because from their very childhood, they have been taught that you do things for people. You become, you do things for others. Never think about your own self. And so they never think about their own health, their own well-being, physical or mental both. So slowly a day comes when they lose total self-confidence and they cannot take any decisions on their own. Simple decisions like what to cook in the family or where to go out, such type of decisions are also being taken by others, by their husband or some seniors family or the children. So they totally lack self-confidence. Next, please. So critical appraisal is, let us find out whether really women empowerment is there or not. Is only having access to resources enough? We've been saying, and I heard so many times, that women should be given education. They should be given all the powers to think. Yes, but if you give all the resources for empowerment, is that enough? No. She should also have the ability to identify and utilize these resources for her own good in a positive way. Next, please. So how do we empower women? How can this empowerment occur? How many years still we will be having this kind of Women's Day celebration? So this process has 5 dimensions. If you want to empower a woman, you cannot empower into 1 or 2 facets. It is a long process. And to make it easier, we have divided into 5 dimensions. 1 is cognitive, 2nd is psychological, 3rd economical, 4th political, and then physical. Next, please. First, we're talking about cognitive empowerment. So what is actually cognitive empowerment in a woman? It is having to understand a situation or a condition. A situation or a condition in which she feels she is endangered. A situation where she feels it is not right for her well-being. If she can understand that, that is the main thing, the mainstay. And it involves making choices sometimes which may go against the normal norms or expectation. It is not necessary that while taking the right decision, she has to follow the path which has been carved by other people. She might have to go in a different path and carve her own way. Next, please. Okay, now we are going to talk about psychological empowerment. What do you mean by psychological empowerment of a woman? It is a belief that a woman can act to improve the society they live in by acting at personal and a social level. As it has been already said that if you teach a woman, you are not only making her educated in the whole family, but you are educating the whole society. So in the same way, if she acts in a better way, in a positive way, there is going to be a sea change in a society also. So in that case, psychologically, she has to work at a personal level, and then to improve the society, she might have to work in a larger context too. Next, please. And what is economical empowerment? Economical empowerment is women have access to and control over productive resources. Thus, there is a financial autonomy. Financial autonomy means she's financially independent. She does not have to depend on others. But this may not change the traditional gender roles or the norms in the family. It does not mean that she becomes the mainstay in the family in the sense, this is a patriarchal situation. Patriarchal society. So we have to understand that male dominance is always going to be there. We are not in a race with male gender. We are in race with our own selves. We want empowerment to improve ourselves. It is not that we are going to compete with males. No, there is no need to do that. That is not real empowerment. So when we are talking about financial autonomy, it gives you little power to think and take your own decisions, because then you are not dependent on others, and these decisions have to be for good, for a positive change in your family, in your life and society. Next. Then political empowerment. What do you mean by political empowerment? It's not that you become some minister or maybe a corporator or something and get a high post. No, it means women have the capacity or a capability to analyze, organize and mobilize a social change, a positive social change, like child marriages, dowry system, see, honor killing. These are things, these are something, these are all, I would say, the black flags of our society. And if you have the power, you can definitely bring a good social change, a positive social change, which would improve the human life of a female. Next, please. Now, the physical empowerment. Physical empowerment is element which gains control over one's body and sexuality. It is ability to protect against physical and sexual violence. We have been talking about domestic violence or violence in the society, violence at maybe sexual abuse or physical abuse at workplace. And we've been talking about all such things. Why do we need to do that? Because women cannot save themselves. We are unable to have control on so many other things. In a marriage, the woman has to depend on every need and wants on the male partner. So when you have that physical empowerment, you can have so much control over your own body, or your own health, and of course, sexuality. So all these things are very much needed when we are talking about empowerment. Next, please. So is women empowerment only a slogan? No. Next, please. Women empowerment is not only a slogan, it is a prerequisite for an optimal capacity for overall development of a family, a society, and nation for a sustainable world. So we have to have women empowerment if we want a very healthy nation, a very healthy society. Next. So women empowerment as such, if you take it in a simple way, it means there has to be educational attainment for females. There has to be more political participation. There has to be improvement in the health segment and equal opportunity. Next. So have we attained it? Next. Attaining women empowerment is a long, tedious journey and already started. Of course, we all have started it, but we'll all have to be an active part of it. Our untiring efforts would help it reach the finish. Next, please. So this is a photograph. You can take it as a sunrise or you can take it as a sunset. A sunset means you become very negative and think that, oh, nothing can be done. You know, it is the end of the day, the end of the road. But you can always take it positively and take it as a sunrise and think that you have a whole day in front of you. It's just the beginning of a day and a positive day. And we can bring a sea change in the mentality and thinking of the society. Thank you so much for a patient hearing and giving me a chance to talk on it.
Thank you very much, madam. Excellent talk, excellent. So as you rightly said, the slogan of women empowerment should never remain a slogan. So we should critically evaluate it. We should do periodical evaluation as in any other project. We should do periodic evaluation and a critical appraisal to see that what we have started on women empowerment, are they effective? Are the women getting benefited or not? Thank you so much, madam, for that very lucid talk on critical appraisal on women empowerment. Thank you very much. And please do accept our oration award from the National President and HST.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So now we have our lead orator, Dr. Heidi Stensmiren. She has joined now. So we'll be having her talk now. Okay. So the lead oration for today is on model women leadership by none other than Dr. Heidi Stensmiren, the president of the World Medical Association. So she is, as I said, a very empowered woman. She's a president of, she has been, one second. One second. So she is currently the president of the World Medical Association and also the chief of the Department of Women's Health and Health Allied Professionals, Karolinska University Hospital. She's the chair of board Swedish Social Insurance Agency, the president of the Swedish Medical Association. She had been from May 2014 to November 2020. She was also the chair of the Swedish Medical Journal, the board member of the Swedish Agency for Health Technology Assessment and Assessment of Social Services. She is a specialist in anesthesiology, and she was working as a consultant anesthesiology and intensive care at Danderyd Hospital, Stockholm, and also had residency and consultancy anesthesiology and intensive care, the Asar Grenska University Hospital. And she was also a board member or a bar expert of the Swedish government's Life Science Advisory Board Bar Expert Group for Life Science. And she was also the chair of the Medical Ethics Committee, the World Medical Association, chair of the Donation Council of the Swedish National Board of Health and Welfare, chair of board of the Stockholm Medical Association, vice president of the Swedish Medical Association. So she obtained her medical degree from the Julius Maximilian University, Germany. And she has a specialist license in anesthesiology and intensive care, Master of Business and Administration, Stockholm School of Economics, Sweden. Also pursued project management, intersection of strategy, people and process, and many more to her credit. So we are very much honored to have Dr. Heidi for the lead oration for today's symposium. So over to you, Heidi ma'am, for your talk.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having the honor to speak to you here today. I think we might have scheduled wrong in my schedule, and I deeply apologize for that because in my schedule we are on for another half an hour. So I deeply apologize that. I was very impressed by Mona here, listening to her and her speech. So I actually made some changes in my speech during the session, since she mentioned some of the things I wanted to tell. As a woman leader, I am in good company with all of you. And listening to my own CV being read up, I must make a comment on the choices I have made as a leader. I have chosen positions where I can affect, where I can make change, and that has been important to me. I want positions where I can make a change, and I think it's very important for women to do so. And when I chaired the board, I was president of the Junior Doctors Organization in Sweden. I was asked, I was admitted to a new board, and as the only woman, and they quoted me in because they needed a woman, and they all wanted to make me take the work assignment for gender equality, and that's very typical. They're quoting in a woman, and she got the task to work for gender equity. But I told them, no, thank you, but I'd like to take the financial committee, because I didn't want to be quoted in on my gender. I wanted to be quoted in, taken in on my capabilities, and that's important. I also want to highlight directly one of the things that Mona mentioned earlier in her talk. I'm chief in a hospital for women's health, amongst others. And here we see a continuing debate about reproductive health of women. And women's empowerment is tied, intertwined with women's reproductive health. And all over the world, women's reproductive health, or access to control her reproductive health, is regulated by law. And almost in every society, this is often a big political issue. And if we reflect upon that, it's very, when we talk about empowerment, we need to have this as aspect of the ability to control our reproductive health. And that's why we need to have a political debate about it. Women's doctors organization, such as the Women's Doctors Wing of the Indian Medical Association, is growing around the globe. And this is an expression of the strong force in the female leadership, and that women have identified the need to work both on political and societal questions to achieve equity. The world would be very poor if we would not use and utilize women as leaders. The WMA, which I am the president for at the moment, was founded in 1947, and it was to ensure independence of physicians and also to work towards the highest standards for physicians. But it's the same for women. Inequality, independence, the possibility to make your own choices will make better choices. You will make them independent, and that's good for society. And the firm position on equity for all, independent of gender, is important. So this is the International Women's Day today, and it's been quoted as break the bias, which I would like to say some words about, because there is a big gender bias that we have to fight. The Women's Day is celebrating the social, but also the economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. Women have fought for their rights for a very long time, and the International Women's Day has been celebrated since 1910, but didn't start there, as I mentioned. As doctors, we often talk about the importance of not being biased when we choose treatments for our patients or do research, and why it's this year's theme of the international, that's why it's this year's theme for the International Women's Day as well, and extra suitable for doctors. If we can call out biases and smash stereotypes, we can break inequality and thereby also reject discrimination. Women are not helped by the narrative that we are weak, especially since we're not. Women are very strong. As someone quoted today in the WhatsApp here, feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength. So we are not helped by the narrative that we are weak and need help. We don't need special treatment. We want equal opportunities, and equal opportunities in society, equal chances on labor market, and in science. We don't want to be appointed because of our gender, but we don't want to be selected or sidestepped, selected away or sidestepped because of gender either. Equal opportunities. And women in leading position is no longer seen as deviant from standard. That is an important milestone today. The day when a woman reaching a high position in society doesn't make headlines because of her gender, that will be the mark that we have achieved equality. Until then, we need to highlight women becoming leaders, taking on difficult and heavy assignments. And why? Well, because they are role models, breaking waves, and they are pioneers in fields still today, and they should be shared on and not be exposed to scrutiny that we see many times from women, even from other women. You probably know this, but I would like to quote Madeleine Albright again, the former Minister of the United States, saying, "There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women." That's still to be recalled. I teach my students that. So saying a few words about the WMA and the work. It has been highlighted in WMA, the increasing amount of female physicians around the world, which is good. In many countries around the world, the number of women studying and practicing medicine has steadily risen, and it has been going on for a few decades. And in many places and institutions, female students are surpassing 50%. This development offers opportunities for action, of course. And the WMA has pointed out that we need a greater emphasis on proper balance on work and family life, supporting the professional development of individual physicians. One of those are childcare, of course, so that women can be on the labor market. And we also need to encourage the women in academia, in leadership and managerial positions. And I will mention I will come back to that one. And we need to equalize the payment and employment opportunities for men and women as well, so that we don't have the gender pay gaps in medicine as we see. So therefore, the WMA want the National Medical Association to explore career opportunities for women and also push for incentive programs for both men and women, of course, so that they don't have the diverse career developments in medicine. We also want the physicians through the National Medical Association to recognize that an appropriate work-life balance is beneficial for all physicians. Maybe women can push this through, but of course it counts for all physicians. Women do face quite a unique challenges in work-life balance still today in very many countries. And the gender roles play a big role here, and that's why it's so good that we have the crossing the gender bias as theme for today. And also healthcare employers can show leadership and help tackle this balance, but it do need some action. There's therefore one of the actions we have pointed out that the maternity leave will be accessible and also will not push back women when they do have a maternity leave, so that they can get back to their work afterwards. We also need programs to encourage men as women to take parental leave, so that they take an equal work in the family life as well, so that they can share the responsibility. We also want the hospitals and other places of employment to be receptive to the possibility of flexible and family-friendly working hours for all. And maybe healthcare need to change. And it's good that so many women are in healthcare and more women in leading positions, so that we can see to that change is being implemented as well. One of my responsibilities as a leader, and also to encourage government so that we have societal programs to foster more female physicians and more female leaders. I'd like to come back also to mention the economic empowerment, because if we want to improve our own situation, economic empowerment is important. The most important negotiation in life that we make might be the kitchen table negotiation, to be able to make our own decisions, not in competition to beat someone else, but just to be equal, to have equal rights and equal chances in life. The WHO pledges extensive commitments towards women's empowerment and health. It has taken a long time, very long time, even for WHO, but they are getting there. In June 2029, the World Health Organization announced multiple commitments to drive change for gender equality and empowerment of women and girls in their diversity. And their commitments is focused on gender, to end gender bias violence, advancing sexual and reproductive health, just as I pointed out earlier, and rights. And we physicians know the importance of this. That's why we need female leaders in medicine. And by these, we can shape a progressive and transformative blueprint for advanced gender equality in the world. And I have, personally, I've seen the gender equality as well. You might think that I live in a country and that is well known worldwide for maternity leave and gender equality. But even here, we have to acknowledge this all the time to improve. And we're not there yet. Sometime we will be. I'd just like to highlight some numbers here. So I'm the president of the WMA, and we've had 4 former presidents, female presidents of the WMA out of 72 in total, which is good. So we are getting there. We currently have 15 female heads of state of governments, and now it comes to how many countries can we count in. But if we say we have 195 countries, it's still some to go, I would say. In 2021, a record number of 23 women running global business companies was noted. And that's great. That's great. But that's on a list of 500, the 500 largest companies in the world, according to Fortune. And of course, we're very happy of the increase, but we do have a long way to go. That's why we still need to highlight when a woman takes on a top position of a company. In addition to the overall number of women CEOs, the number of women of color leaders on the list has also risen, and that also need to be highlighted. Last year, just one of the 500 global CEOs were colored, and we do need to broaden our perspective on equality. And it is rising, which is good. The visibility and recognition of women as leaders and experts in global health is still a challenge, I would say. Too often, we witness panels that are very gender biased, and there are no women at all. And the question is, of course, why can't we find a woman to represent in a panel? We need that, not at least in science. In scientific gatherings and other meetings, women are very underrepresented. So we have to work on that. Evidence shows that women comprise 70% of the global health workforce, but only make up 25% of the top leadership positions. And the Global Health report revealed that decision-making power remains concentrated in the hands of men, with men leading 70% of global health organizations and 80% of boards of these organizations. And it's not because men are not good, they are great, but we need to step up and foster more women and help them and help each other to participate in and share these very important global institutions. So professional recognition, contributing to career advancement is important. Thereby we can achieve, over a lifetime, achieve more and better results in leadership. In the past 10 years, only 10% of public health and medicine awards were given to women. So they are out there fighting, but they need to be more. And as I addressed earlier, the female physician and work-family conflict is there as well. Many countries are good at helping women that take on leader positions, but even that needs to be addressed. Increasing the number of female physicians has not led automatically to the increase in women in leading positions, and we all have a responsibility to foster that so that we can utilize this resource as female leaders are. And there are a number of interviews with women describing this challenge of balancing family life and professional lives. But giving up the professional life is not an answer to this. We need to equal out the preconditions so that we can have equal opportunities again. We have we have been supporting spouses for many years, and many are still, and we can still be that, but we can have, there's time also for men to develop this side, and there are some very good role models for that out there, so that we can help each other, not compete, but help together, men and women. And many men have been very supportive to me as a woman, so we should not brand up a conflict, but help each other to become better. And women leaders need to help other women leaders and support them. The workplace initiatives, this is the last thing, and I've got 1 minute left. The last thing I'd like to highlight is the workplace initiatives supporting women's return to work after maternity leave. And we as leaders in medicine and healthcare can promote that. Evidence has shown that childcare plays a role in enabling parents, especially women, to engage in paid work after childbirth, for example. And 1/3 still of the 140 countries with available information have no national legislation on such public provision or public subsidizes to offset childcare costs for preschool children. And that's something where we can work on in society to change. Because where programs do exist, coverage promotes more women to take on leading position. And this is in high-income countries just as low-income countries. It's a good investment for society to invest in childcare, because their way society can utilize women as leaders. So back again, to achieve equal opportunities, family duties must be shared between men and women. And childcare needs to be seen as an investment for society. And as Mona Desai also said earlier, economic empowerment is extremely important. It has been difficult for women many times to talk about the economy, but it is about economy. We need to, when we choose our work, women, we must be able to choose economy and choose powerful positions, and not be reduced to only work on, for example, gender equality. Gender equality should be a foreign bias, a founding base for everything, not a separate thing to do. With those words, thank you so much for having me. I know I'm taking 2 minutes over my time.
It's all right, ma'am. It's all right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. The Women Doctors Wing of Indian Medical Association is really fortunate to listen to the president of World Medical Association, who also comes from a country which has a policy on gender equality. Still, you were talking on how to break the bias. Yes, ma'am. Really, we need to break the gender-based bias on many, many aspects, starting from our accessibility to advanced training and education, our pay, our working hours, many, many aspects. Of course, we all strive for it, ma'am. Thank you so much. As a token of our respect and appreciation, please do accept the Lead Oration Award given to you by our National President and Honorary Secretary General. Thank you so much, ma'am. Meena ma'am, next, so shall we continue with the rest of the program?
Yes, continue your schedule.
So shall we have the talk by Bharti ma'am and then go for open house, or how to go, madam?
No, we can have Dr. Bharti's talk.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now we'll have another very important talk, that is, are we going to reach the culminating point, like Road to Pinnacle by Dr. Bharti Kashyap, another very, very empowered woman, a strong lady, a firebrand leader who is in fact dedicated to social activities and committed to eradicating cervical cancer from Jharkhand. So she is an ophthalmic surgeon, She's specialized in femtolaser, robotic cataract, and LASIK surgery. She's a co-chairperson of IMA National Women Doctors Wing and the chairperson of Jharkhand Women Doctors Wing. She's a founder director of NABH accredited Kashyap Memorial Eye Hospital and the medical director of the Kashyap Memorial Eye Bank Trust. She's the first woman ophthalmologist of India and the only woman from Jharkhand who got awarded with the prestigious Nari Shakti Puraskar Award 2017 by the Honorable President of India. She has got 3 national IMA awards for excellence in community healthcare. She is a national vice chairperson of the FBS Women Empowerment and Networking Committee. She's the chairperson of the Scientific Committee of Jharkhand Ophthalmological Society, the secretary of the Women Ophthalmology Society Jharkhand chapter, president of the International Society of Manual Small Incision Cataract Surgeons, secretary of the Ranchi Ophthalmic Forum. And what has she done? So what was she doing for empowering Jharkhand to mature into a cervical cancer-free future? And inspired by their work, the then governor of Jharkhand, Srimati Draupadi, took the initiative to run Sadar hospitals with cervical cancer screening and treatment equipments. As a result of her continuous campaigns, 11 out of 23 hospitals of Jharkhand have been equipped with digital video colposcope equipments. In addition, she, in her personal capacity, donated a digital video colposcope too. And in 2021, due to the efforts of the WDW of IMA Jharkhand, the state government fixed an annual amount for screening 3 lakh reproductive age group women for cervical cancer. So, like so many social activities, she is really committed to the cause. In addition to the ophthalmological services, she renders too many contributions towards eradicating cervical cancer from Jharkhand. So I think she's the right person to lay the road to the pinnacle. So, ma'am, over to you.
First and foremost, my special thanks to the chairperson, Meena Wankhedkar Madam, the national president, Sajanand sir, and the entire national WDW team for connecting all of us beautifully in this symposium. Great people are those who make others feel that they can be great too, hence the relevance of this session. Now a question is here, how a woman should carve the road to pinnacle? There's a small 10-second video, and after that, I will start the presentation. Next. Road to pinnacle. Women play an integral role in family. She is bright and intelligent and relevant to the issues that clamor for attention at all time point. Compromise. Early in her career, she is entrenched in her education, growth, and thinks very much like her male counterpart. She thinks that she has a very bright future, and somewhere along the line, while her parents are encouraging her for being as ambitious as she could, there comes discussion of matrimony, and as being young, sensible doctor, she thinks it has to be included in her life pattern. But then comes a challenge of indecisiveness of whether she should do fellowship or whether she should prioritize to start a family. And in this present decade, all of us should press a pause button here. We should give it a serious thought. Marriage? Yes. Education? Yes. Now it is very important for this young doctor to go ahead and first do a good fellowship, whether she is capable, whatever she is capable of, and combine it with a fair amount of surgical prowess before she goes on to start a family. This is absolutely undebated point, and this is how she should plan her priority. And then she should look at motherhood, as it is very precious part of her life, and she should take a decent, well-earned break and for a year or two, as she has now built the confidence that she can pick up the threats as and when she needs. And that does not mean that this is the only crossroad she has to cross. She is eternally bridging gap between family and children, and this career pull is always there. She is connected with her contemporaries and friends through social media, and she keeps remembering that she needs to stay afloat. A time comes when the scene continues to evolve. A moment of redundancy should not set in. It should become later a moment of realization when she awakens to the fact that her lifetime ambition has not been realized. Redistribution of responsibility. With regards to unpaid care work, women in India spend an average of 297 minutes a day on tasks such as taking care of children, the elderly, and the sick. In comparison, men spend 31 minutes a day. But she should not think into that line. You only see obstacles when you take your eyes off the goal. Need to have set a foundation for evolving growth in Kunshin. She should not be caught in unnecessary hurdle race. Growth has to be a constant process. It is very important to take things in small measures. Shorter working hours with sense of quality inherent never end up in a place with no promise of growth. A solitary climb it would be, even if it is the most loving family. Never waste your energy, rebel, or get militant with the other newer family you have got into. No sense to win over trivial issues in the family for the big battle and victory. Don't lose sight of your final goal in question. This is the salary index, women earning 19% less than the male counterpart. Need of the hour is to define and redefine herself as consistently she is evolving to reach one goalpost to the other goalpost. There are business models galore. What would be the business model for this late starter? She needs to ask herself this question again and again. Does she perceive herself in solo venture if it is underserved area and she thinks that she will click easily? Does she think that group practice is good for her if the small boat appears rocky? Don't board it. Climb the stairs with your senior partners. Government setup, a good, nice setup. Corporate base, be it a standalone hospital or a corporate chain. Make yourself indispensable. Establish your stand. Work tirelessly. Move to sharing a small share in business. They can give you an incentivized growth if you are so good, and you can have a risk-free life because you are with your other partners. You are not alone. Acquire your management skill, whatever gets thrown in. Some podium presence is very important. Partake in conferences. This woman is a winner. You watch this woman. Don't challenge her. She has challenged herself at various segments of life. She has to get best of her inimical moments. Has made families her own. She will rise up slowly towards a pinnacle, maybe later than you. But she has cherished memories. She has taken diverse paths. She's versatile. A man in a man's world, a woman in a woman's world, unbeaten second half or the better half. It is up to you, woman, what you want to be. Educate a man and you educate an individual. Educate a woman and you educate a family. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharti ma'am, for the very inspiring talk. Very inspiring, in fact. As you said, no, the unpaid work. But I believe that the payment for that monetarily unpaid work is the love and care we get in return.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That's what I said, that don't go into that. Don't go into that.
Yes. Let me share my screen. 1 second.
Dr. Kavita?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
We welcome Dr. Vinay Agarwal, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, 1 second.
Past National President, Dr. Vinay Agarwal, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
So
yes,
hearty welcome, Vinay Agarwal sir, to this program.
ma'am, he is not available at this moment.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. Okay. So Bharti ma'am, so please accept the Oration Award from the headquarters for your talk on Road to Pinnacle.
Thank you, headquarters, and thank you, the team.
So now, ma'am, we'll have the epilogue or the open discussion.
Open house.
Yeah. No, because
If anyone wants to speak,
we skipped, no, madam, that's right. Okay, so now we go on to the open house discussion. So all the audience here must have been listening to the great orators. We have had topics on the way forward, youthful aspirations, work-life balance, that is domesticity versus profession, broad experiences, critical appraisal on women empowerment, Road to Pinnacle, and of course, the lead oration by Dr. Heidi on model women leadership. So now you are welcome to put forward your inputs and insights, whether you agree or disagree to the orator's views. So the house is open for discussion. You can raise your hands. Okay. Aishwarya Gupta.
Yeah.
And I request our national coordinator, Dr. Nita Biani, to join me in the moderating this open house session. Aishwarya Gupta?
Yes,
Yeah.
no video is not actually.
Please put on your video, Aishwarya.
Ma'am, it's not coming actually. It's not showing.
Okay, fine. Then please say what you want to say.
Good evening to all the panelists here. And very well you people are saying this. I'm transplant coordinator in SGPJ Lucknow. Happy Women's Day to all of you. And I would like to say something that this society is growing forward. I think the feminism is not there. Means everywhere we can see restriction on girls. That in workplace, even in healthcare industry, that you cannot wear this dress or you cannot open your hair like this and that. When can, because of few boys around, that always girls has to suffer, always girls has to has a rules and regulation. Why not some boys? So I think feminism should be promoted in this Women's Day on occasion.
Yes.
What you all can say.
Any of the faculty can answer? Like, can Dr. Heidi, you want to speak on it?
Hello. I did not perceive the question really, but I did hear you say something.
It's all about bias, ma'am. She was asking why all the restrictions on girls, not anything on boys.
No, and of course that is not right, that there are restrictions due to their gender, restrictions on girls, and we do see it. And I find it very strange when I hear the restrictions on women referred to culture, for example, that it's culture, because it's not. It's not cultural. It's someone says it's criminal, but it's discriminating to have other restrictions on girls than on boys. And I think we should question this on a broad front. And it is still that way, that girls, you can even see it in schools, that women have other rules for women, other rules for girls and for boys. And we might think that we can work with the workforce and secure equal rights on the workforce, but that is late in life. It starts from the start. It starts from in school, before school. If we have different, or if we have restrictions for girls in sports, or in society, or in school, and again, if we cannot change this by making special treatments later in lives, special auditions for women, special quotas for women late in life. We need to start up front and see to that they are equal opportunities from start, and we should not accept that. That's in the small, but it's not small. It's the founding bias. We can't expect women to stand up for themselves if they are being brought up as an accepted with less worth. So I think you highlight one of the extremely important things. It's easy for us also to be biased out. We can see the gender bias in work life later in life. They are easier to talk about, but there is a strong gender bias from start. We had restrictions on women. Maybe one of the most important things that we can change.
Thank you, Dr. Heidi. Aishwarya, hope you got the answer. See, the slogan, the theme campaign, Break the Biases, for that. You start by yourself. You start the campaign, you smash the stereotypes. So you can start, and then you can spread to your friends, your family, and to the community. Okay. So anyone else? Mona ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please unmute, Mona.
Yes, yes. I just wanted to tell Aishwarya and all the respected leaders and everyone over here that you see real empowerment is when you get the power to take a decision or think about what is good and what is bad for your own self. Okay. So it is not that you are being forced to wear something or comb your hair in a way. It is something that you take a decision what is good for you in that situation. See, we all are living in a society and we are not living in a jungle. So we are in a civilized world. So no need for such restrictions. But yes, sometimes when your parents or some elders tell you they have some meaning in it. So at least talk to them and you can discuss. Secondly, when you take up a decision that yes, I'm going to do this, you're going to break the bias, then be ready to face the music. Okay? Don't just put, if something goes wrong, you have to face the consequences. So with empowerment or with taking a decision comes a lot of responsibilities. So you have to be ready for that. Right?
I have a suggestion to Dr. Aishwarya.
Yes, Bharti ma'am.
Yes, because I have this strong feeling that a woman can break the bias only if there is a financial empowerment. If financial empowerment for women is extremely important. Once you are financially empowered, everybody will listen to you and you will be easily breaking the bias. No stone will come. You will just earn everything. Financial empowerment and your own career is very, very important to me. This is my advice. If your career is not good, if you are not financially independent, you cannot break the bias.
But Bharti madam, when you are studying, financially you are not independent.
You have a mother.
When a child is growing.
Your child is growing, you need a financially independent mother.
Allow Dr. Heidi madam.
Neelam ma'am, Heidi ma'am wants to speak.
What I want to say, I suggest that Dr. Aishwarya, that all these precautions, this is a sort of precaution and for safety of the children, what the parents are taking. And I just what the Kashyap madam has told, I agree. Financial point is very important. Economically, one should be independent. And one more suggestion for this Aishwarya, in the education and financial, these are the more important point. You must achieve this, and then you can rule the world. Thank you,
madam. It is.
Please allow Dr. Heidi.
Yeah, Dr. Heidi, you want to say something?
Yes, this is so important. Ownership is important. Financial empowerment and ownership. And I want to tell you a story, small one, short one. So one day a friend of mine calls and say, "Hey, do you play poker?" And I said, "No, I don't play poker. I'm very busy. I got to take care of my kids and my work." And she said, "Okay, you come and play poker." So when I showed up, there was a room full of women, 20 women, high-powered women in Stockholm. And my friends, and this was at the bank. So we play poker inside a bank. So my friend goes up and say, "I'll check this out. When women go to the bank and they found a company, they ask for 1 million. When a man comes to bank, he asks for 10 millions. So now I'm going to teach you to take on risk, to build something." And all the women came up and said, "Don't go for the position on the board. Don't ask for a position to sit on the board. Ask for a position, ask for an ownership share when you are being appointed as well." And we built this over time. And the women there, they got much more influence. And every month we would sit down by the poker tables in the bank and bet and build something. And it turned out very good. So afterwards now, all of the women have an ownership share in different companies. And that has been successful because then they can decide much more. So ownership.
When a girl child is growing up and she's always seeing her mother very independent, it has a impact on her brain, growing mind. And if she seeing that she is always thrashed up by her husband, father, and every time she has to go to ask money, everything from her daddy and not mother, it will have a bad impact on her growing mind. So a financially independent mother has a very good impact on her growing female child's brain.
I agree.
Okay. Anyone else?
Question is, can we move? Next question.
Who is it?
Dr. Ravi Vankirkar's voice.
Ravi sir wants to speak something, Dr. Kavita.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I want to ask a question to Heidi, Mona madam, and all the wonderful women leaders. What advice would you give to a leader or a health activist like me? Because I personally feel that we male leaders need to be sensitized and educated more. I want your expert advice to us. Thank you.
So we can't hear your voice clearly. So you have to repeat the question.
Lot of echo because two devices are nearby.
Yeah, it was not
His
clear,
question
sir.
is,
Could you please
can
repeat?
you hear me, Kavita?
Yes,
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 ma'am.
Meena ma'am.
Yeah, Meena ma'am.
Okay. So his question is, any suggestions for or advice for a leader like him, a male leader?
Oh. Dr. Heidi, the question is to Dr. Heidi.
Oh, as you can see too that when you give positions, if you're a leader, you can appoint others to leading positions as well, and be aware of the gender bias. And many women have very good merits, and if we can compete on the merits, educational merits, we can do well. So appoint women to positions, and when you appoint, think of the financial committee, so that many women take on the weaker subjects, like they take on the gender committee or the children's committee. But why not give a committee chair to of the property, something where the big money is? That would be, think of that. That's important. And also foster. I have had mentors, men that have helped me. So they have given me very good advice and taken me in important decision-making rooms. That is important. The two things I think you can do as a leader.
Kavita, I have an advice for Dr. Ravi.
Yes.
Can I?
Yes, sir. Please, please.
Dr. Heidi, with your permission, my advice to Dr. Ravi would be introspection. If we who are really in the stiller roles really put genuine pondering within our own self. My simple poser would be, WMA has Heidi as the president. Let us look into our own sleeves. Why is it IMA in its entire history still has not a female as a president of IMA? Therefore, the question is not devolution of power. Question is not just sharing of authority. It's not even delegating of authority. It is bestowing the authority. And that authority is not expected to be under any regulatory control. It cannot be meted out in the form of absent landlordism. It cannot be for the name's sake. It has to be put across what Dr. Heidi is wanting to put across in the form of ownership. And it is that which really makes a difference. Empowerment is cannot be just a hollow slogan. It also cannot be a lip service. It has to be a realistic actualization of meaningful placement, which is not only participative in nature, but also is absolute decentralization with a sense of absolute ownership bestowed on. Therefore, it's not a relative context. It's an absolute context. And it is only that absolute context which makes a real sense of true, genuine, and bona fide empowerment.
Yes.
Yes,
True,
sir.
sir. True, sir. Exactly. So, if there are no more inputs or suggestions, anybody else? So shall we close the open house now? I think so. So
I think there is some Mr. Sampath, Dr. Sampath wants to say something.
Dr. Selvarajan, I think.
Samparath Rao.
Oh, Dr. Selvarajan. Yes. Sir? Dr. Selvarajan. Yes, sir. Please unmute Dr. Selvarajan.
Not
Dr. Sampath Rao.
Yeah, I am Dr. Sampath Rao, President of the Telangana IMA.
Yes, sir.
So this is a nice thing that we should greet all the women and more so our particular community, the women doctors community. All the greetings on behalf of the Telangana IMA. We have conducted this program for the International Women's Day the last Sunday, that was on 6th. Our women doctors chairperson of the state, Dr. Vasanta, has done a wonderful program. So she has, many people have participated in the program. The national president, Dr. Shahjahan Singh sir, and the Jayalali, the secretary, all my colleagues, Dr. B.N. Reddy, our secretary, and Dr. Gattu, honorary secretary, and Madam Chanthakumari was our the president of the opposites and national president. She spoke very nicely, and we wish that soon the national president of IMA should be a lady one. The IMA should be a parent body, including all the other societies, the obstetrical society or whatever the organizations. We should all try to see that how best we can bring down the maternal mortality and infant mortality also. Already there is a lot of improvement, but still we need to work out more. As you all know that the medical seats are now, major share is by the women. The lady doctors are more in number now. So it's a very encouraging for the women. I think all the organizers, including Dr. Meena Vanketkar, the Dr. Kavita, are so energetic and very useful in the organizing the sessions. The women mainly are taking part in the Mission Pink Health, Swayam projects, the international president is also a lady. That's a very proud of her. Yeah. So the role of women have to be still encouraged in many activities. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Dr. Ravindra Reddy, sir, actually. Please allow Dr. Ravindra Reddy, sir.
Yes.
This is muted.
Hello. Yeah, this is Dr. Ravindra Reddy, Vice President, National Vice President. Yesterday, as our President said, we had celebrated this event, women's celebrations yesterday in a very grand manner in Hyderabad. And most of the branches, some of the branches, we are seeing all lady members as office bearers, President, Secretary, and this has been going on for several years. Not the state president, probably Haryana madam is there. National president, we have to see a lady president, that is, people will decide. And then financial and education, if a lady is financially strong, she can take a decision. As Dr. Ved Prakash sir said, when the lady can take decisions only when she is financially strong. As long as she is dependent on the husband or the parents, she cannot take decisions. And education and finance will go together. So that should be the ultimate thing. So I thank Dr. Kavita Ravi Garu for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ravindra, sir. Dr. Ritanjali, you want to speak? From Odisha. Ritanjali Mishra.
Yes, very good afternoon and namaskar to all our national leaders, Dr. Sadan sir, Dr. Lele sir, Dr. Jailal sir, Mona ma'am, Kavita ma'am, Yashoda ma'am, Nita ma'am, and also our Meena ma'am. So many beautiful ladies, and we are just observing the International Women's Day this year. And what I mean to say here, 2 to 3 lines, we are observing among ourselves only doctors, we are participating, but we should also, at the same time, we should send this message to other women also, those who are also taking parts in different organizations and leading there. In Odisha, our Professor Sachinda Swai ma'am, and we also organize in some other sectors like corporate sectors that cover the educated ladies there also. The message through them can go to the society. We can send our messages from the doctors, also the educated people from other societies. That message we can spread everywhere, including as Sir told about the maternal mortality. We obstetrician and gynecologists, we should consider we are only just dealing with those subjects, but the common knowledge we can send with the ASAs, ANNs, and also the field workers also can thus disseminate this knowledge to the grassroots level, so that from the grassroots level the people will be benefited. Only one thing about the maternal mortality and also about cancer screening, I will just wherever we are going, all the lady doctors, we should send this message, the early signs, how the symptoms in the early phases they can detect. We are dealing with so many cancers, cervix and cancer breast cases are increasing nowadays a lot. Even post-menstrual ladies are coming with so much complications. So these messages only we have to, whenever we are going, just clinically we can also examine the breast wherever possible. This is my little message, because once that occurs, we are seeing the patients, we cannot do anything. They are detecting in later stages. So at least this message, if we are just spreading everywhere, wherever we are going to do anything, just we are go on spreading this message, so that the people will be very much enthusiastic to do this breast examination and screening. This was my message, and I will end with a little Sanskrit slok for a mother. Nasti matru samangchaya, nasti matru samagati, nasti matru shamantranam, nasti matru samang prapap. So a mother cannot be compared to anybody. These are all women we are dealing with. They are mother to anybody. So their health is very much essential for us. We should.
Yeah, thank you, Anjali madam. Because it's short of time, we have to take next
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this call.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
Sorry
very
to interrupt you in between.
Thank you, ma'am.
But we are waiting for the, yeah. So last two questions, I think by Dr. Selvarajan and by Dr. Vasanta Kumari. Is it okay, Kavita ma'am? Now
Yes,
we
yes.
take
Yeah, yeah. We
last-
can have two more. Yeah, Selvarajan sir,
Yeah.
no? He was there
Dr.
before.
Selvarajan and Dr. Vasanta Kumari.
Audible?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes, 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 sir.
Yeah, just towards the appreciation to the headquarters for the excellent organization of this International Women's Day celebration. And this women's empowerment, anemia, the maternal mortality, all these issues can be started in the school syllabus, the earlier higher school studies and the women's colleges. These issues has to be taken to the forum, and even the syllabus of the schools and colleges can be more focused on these issues, so that in future we can be facing the mortality issues in a better manner. So the recommendations to the government on this issue will be very vital. So this is my opinion from my side. And once again, greetings on the Women's Day celebration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Vasanta ma'am, quick.
Good
ma'am.
evening.
Yeah. Please.
Good evening, all of you. Good evening, Dr. Kavita and all of you. Am I audible?
Audible, ma'am. Audible. Please, please.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening, all of you. Wish you all happy. Yeah. Wish you all a happy International Women's Day. We have celebrated our International Women's Day celebrations at Hyderabad, as Dr. Sampath Rao sir and Ravinder Reddy sir has spoken to you about the program. And today we have done a health camp at Nalgonda along with one NGO, Swasthya Cancer Screening Program. Nobody knows about, not many people know about HPV vaccine. I would like to say that IMA should come out with advertisement with HPV vaccine and their availability and all.
Yes,
And
ma'am,
this
yeah.
year we are going, this year along with this NGO, we are going to concentrate more on Swayam, cancer screening and cancer breast also, and more so for adolescent girls health programs, since we have partnered with few pharma companies for HB camps and distributing iron syrups, and also thyroid screening. Apart from HB, thyroid screening also more essential for adolescent girls health program.
Yes, ma'am. We'll submit all these proposals to the headquarters, to the National President and HST. And we had already submitted the request, to writing a letter to the government to include HPV vaccination in the immunization schedule.
Yes.
So we'll do this too, ma'am. Thank you so much. And congratulations for all the Women's Day programs.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's time to close the open house.
Ima ma'am wants to add something. Dr. Kavita?
Who?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Dr. Vasanta
Amina
Kumari.
ma'am. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell Dr. Vasanta Kumari that all such programs are already going on, and Dr. Lele is looking into it, and they will be coordinated very well. And that is why Erica Patel has been assigned this committee. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So now we are coming to the end of the symposium. So we'll have the epilogue from the great speaker, actually the person who proposed this topic, the Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra, the Pro-Chancellor. See, I am nobody to introduce sir, because if in 2 minutes, no one can introduce sir, because he has a lot of credits, lot of qualifications, lot of awards. But I would just say that he is a professor of excellence, professor of eminence, professor emeritus, and he has been conferred with the prestigious Dr. B.C. Roy National Award in the year 2016 by the Honorable President of India honored and conferred with DSE by 5 international science universities. And the present positions, like you'll understand what I said is right. Like he occupies the position of the principal or the post of the principal advisor to Honorable Chancellor at Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences, Karad, the Pro-Chancellor, the Detta Meke Institute of Medical Sciences, Nagpur, National Head of the Academic Program of Indian Program, UNESCO Chairman, Bioethics, Haifa, Member of the International Committee for Bioethics for Asia Pacific Region, Advisor, Human Ethics Committee Association, Bangalore, Dean, Academic and Accreditation Board, National Indian Medical Association, Headquarters, New Delhi, Director, Professor in Advanced Physiology, Professor of Eminence, Excellence and Emeritus with 5 health sciences universities in the country, and many, many more. So, sir, we are indeed very much honored to have you to propose this topic. And personally, I am an ardent fan of you. Like being a medical college teacher, I always try to learn from you the way you express. So that expression, that is effortless expression. See, I think nobody can copy it, but at least we can learn from you, sir. Over to you, sir, for the epilogue.
Thank you very much,
yes, sir.
Dr. Kavita, for your kind, liberal and benevolent words. World Medical Association President, Dr. Heidi, National President of IMA, my esteemed learned elder brother, Dr. Sajanand Prashad Singh, learned Honorary Secretary General, Dr. Jayesh Lele, the Chairperson of the Women Doctors Wing, Dr. Meena Wankhedkar, Co-Chairperson, Dr. Neelam Mishra, Dr. Bharti Kashyap, former Chairperson of WDW, Dr. Mona Desai, learned participants who have put across their respective orations in this day-long deliberations, former National President of IMA, and one of the key architects of this entire proposition, along with Dr. Meena and her entire team, my learned brother, Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, Dr. Erica Patel, and above all, a person whom we owe the entire essence of professional creativity, leader of the leaders of this country in the domain of professionalism and profession, respected Dr. Ketan Desai. Ladies and gentlemen, having heard a dimension of absolutely rainbow-like prepositions which have been put across by women of eminence, women of excellence, and if I am permitted to say so, absolutely ardent women of substance, in such a diligent, cogent, and credible manner, beginning from the prologue that has been put across by Dr. Meena Wankhedkar, and ending up with such a beautiful, remarkable open house discussion. I believe the entire saga, from commencement to the point that we have reached in reality is an epilogue itself. I am only vested with the responsibility of maybe reinforcing and reiterating it in whatever sketchy words as I can. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing which we need to really diligently articulate out of this candid discussion is that when we are contemplating equality, we need to understand for ourselves that society has gone a long way. 5,000 years before, when Socrates contemplated the conceptualization of state, I think these milestones that human race has achieved have been very candidly described thereunder. He says that human society, from its barbaric manifestations, it is required to be transforming itself into a sense of civilized, cultured society in the domain of civility, which is expected to be transformed into a prudent society, and that prudent society ultimately is expected to reach to the zenith and glory of being an egalitarian society. Is this transformation natural? Ladies and gentlemen, the transformations do not take place as an accidental aberration or as a natural corollary of consequences. It's a fact that society in which you and me are living is a civilized society, is a cultured society. But if you look back, what exactly has been the basic tenet of transition of the social civilization that we are seeing today is governed only by one important principle, and that's exactly we need to keep in our minds. In a barbaric society, in an uncultured society, in an uncivilized society, the dictum which governs the society is very simple, and it is quoted as, quote, might is right, unquote. We have gone a long way when we say that long way which we have gone pertains to yet another evolution of a cardinal principle, that what was applicable to barbaric society as might is right, in a civilized society, it is, quote, right is might. This is a single line shift which has transformed barbaric men and barbaric society into civilized men and women living in a civilized society, which goes to indicate that grant of rights, respecting rights, extension of rights turns out to be the hallmark of any civilized society. I'm tempted to quote, take the historical parables into situation. 1789, the French Revolution and the Declaration of French Revolution which was made. What was that? The preamble very categorically said, quote, men are born free, and therefore they are entitled to die free. Freedom is the hallmark of it. And therefore the world was given a trinity of slogan for the purpose of transformation of the civilized society into a prudent society, and that was liberty, equality, and fraternity. We added one more dimension on 26th of January 1950 in the Indian context, ladies and gentlemen. When the founding fathers in the name of Constituent Assembly gave a constitution to this country, the preamble of that particular constitution guaranteed every citizen not only the three declarations made in the French Revolution or French Declaration, it added one more dimension. And therefore, the constitutional guarantee is to every citizen, liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice. Essence which has been incorporated in Chapter 3 of the Constitution of this great country of your and mine, titled Fundamental Rights, beginning from Article 12 to Article 32, it is the entire saga of equality, equity, equitability, and empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, I am wanting to put an absolute mathematical chronology to what we are contemplating. It's not a wish list. It's not an accidental aberration. It's not a claim which is expected to be generating out of the thin air or germinating out of the soil out of nothing. It's a transition which is expected to be absolutely phasic and stepwise in nature. I am bringing out four important cardinal words when we are talking of feminine or women empowerment. Women empowerment cannot be generated without women or gender equality. Gender equality cannot be generated without gender equitability. Gender equitability cannot be generated without gender equity. There is a chronological sense, sociologically, psychologically, if we are wanting to decipher, we need to understand what exactly equity is, what exactly we mean by equitability, how equity and equitability are going to be taking shape in the form of equality, and how equality alone is the mother repository of empowerment. Empowerment is absolutely an eyewash if it is not germane to equality. Equality is absolutely a slogan if it is not generated out of equitability. Equitability is hollow if it is not born out of equity. This is the simple mathematical calculation which is born out of absolutely the dialectics of material reality, which is the bona fide social science to which the entire world subscribes to. When we say that the Constitution guarantees every citizen, therefore equality is not just a human right. Equality is basically a fundamental right which is guaranteed in the Constitution, Indian Constitution, to every citizen. And the preamble of Section 12 categorically reads This equality, this guarantee cannot be denied to anybody in the name of sex, color, caste, creed, place of worship, modality of worship, trade, calling, order, profession, vocation, or geographic location. Why I am citing this, ladies and gentlemen? I am citing this that we need to clearly decipher for ourselves in terms of the entire discussion that we have had. What are we talking about? What are we aiming about? Be it financial empowerment, be it educational empowerment, be it empowerment in its totalistic form and manifestation. It cannot be generated without equity, which is vital. What is equity? Equity is in the domain of two important contexts, ladies and gentlemen. Equity in terms of opportunities and equity in terms of resources. This is the hallmark of the entire combination. You may talk of equity in opportunity, and you will be absolutely resulting in denial of the resources. That equity is absolutely hollow. It's meaningless. It is focusless. It is directionless. When we are contemplating resources, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be very careful and we have to be very cautious. The entire dimension of resources in the domain of equity, when we are talking of gender equality, it is pertaining to three important dimensions. That is pertaining to resources which are economic in nature, resources which are social in character, and resources most vital which are cultural in intonation. Economic security, economic empowerment, through educational empowerment, n number of times cultural barriers come in the way which become non-negotiable, and therefore I am putting across the trinity of the three important dimensions. Equity of opportunities is the first mother repository of it. But this equity of opportunity is feasible, possible, and permissible only when you have got an equity in the domain of resources, and those resources pertain to economic resources, social resources, and most important, cultural resources. It is the trinity of these three which turns out to be very vital and significant composition, which goes to indicate equity is basically the availability of this, an environment and ambience where we say it is governed by equity of opportunities and equity of resources. What exactly it means? It means that there is an availability of the same. Availability does not mean accessibility, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the important barrier which I'm wanting to put across. Equity is available. It is guaranteed in the Constitution. Equity is absolutely plunderable, guaranteed in the Constitution. Why it does not get translated into reality in spite of so many years of independence? Why we talk of different yardsticks of achievement and attainment of empowerment when it comes to high income group countries, middle income group countries, low income group countries? Why the differentiation is there? It's not the question of denial of equity. It is the denial of absolutely availability which is most important. And therefore, in spite of the fact that the constitutional guarantee in terms of recognizable, non-alienable human fundamental right, which guarantees equity, but it does not guarantee accessibility of the same because of the limitations which are there, as a result of which the first blockade is equity is not convertible into equitability. This is the barrier which is coming in the way of generating the next important approach. Equality is an approach and not an end result. This is one important fact which has to be borne in mind. Equity is a guarantee which has been prescribed. Equitability is the availability which has to be put across, and this availability then will result in generation of inequality, which is absolutely an approach. But ultimately, the goal of this particular equality has to be empowerment. And that empowerment is the end result of equity getting converted into equitability, equitability resulting in equality, and equality ultimately acting as a providence for empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand where are the blockades and where are the barriers. These are not just individual aberrational barriers. As I said, Constitution is the mother repository which is making the entire equity available, but it is the cultural restraints. It is the sociological considerations. It is the economic inequity which ultimately is resulting in difficulty in availability. When we talk of equity in education, do we have equity in education? Answer is yes. but do we have equitability in education? Do we have equitability in opportunity? Do we have equitability in resource mobilization? Do we have equitability in resources utilization? The answer is a big no. And therefore, there are barriers and restraints. These barriers and restraints are basically by virtue of social biases, cultural biases, economic biases, and personal biases. Biases have got 4 important contours, ladies and gentlemen, when we are talking about the conversion of equitability into equality. Social biases, which could be in the form of beliefs, which could be in the form of absolutely taboos, which could be in the form of traditions, which could be in the form of customs, n number of barriers which are there in vogue. They are not easily negotiable. They are not easily marginable, be it in the name of family, be it in the name of society. The real weakness lies in that equality is the first surrender when it comes to group conformity, when it comes to family conformity, when it comes to social conformity, and when it comes to cultural conformity, ladies and gentlemen. It is in this dimension that this transformation is not easy. This transformation is absolutely not individualistic, and hence what we get empowerment as a result is more of an individual achievement and not a socio-cultural or economic phenomena. It's more of an accidental aberration rather than a routine generalistic creation. It is this facet which has to be kept in mind. Individual excellence was there, ladies and gentlemen. Individual excellence is there, and individual excellence is bound to be there till eternity. But individual excellences are not the socio-economic and cultural phenomena generated transformations and manifestations. It is in that context, ladies and gentlemen, what is the real crux? The real crux is the ways and means of transformation of these stagic manifestations. Equity to equitability is easy to convert because law can take care of that. But beyond that, conversion of that equitability will need generation of an attitude of accommodation, attitude of sharing, attitude of extending, attitude of benevolence, attitude of delegation, and finally, attitude of transfer of ownership in the sense of equity and equitability. These are the various stages. In case of a company transfer, there are 5 stages which are put into operation. So is in the case of any other transfer which is governing this transformation. And finally, when we say that attitude, all the propositions which we are wanting to contemplate is, can there be a behavioral change without an attitudinal change? Answer is a big no. Whether it is a personal behavior, whether it is a social behavior, whether it is a psychological behavior, or whether it is absolutely a cultural behavior, it is the attitude which turns out to be a mother repository for extended behavior, observable behavior, or visible or tangible behavior. Therefore, empowerment is a result of behavioral change. Behavioral change is a result of attitudinal change. Attitudinal change is a result of a change of approach, and a change of approach is based on availability. This is the simple phenomena which has to be kept in mind. Be it the social theory, be it the economic theory, be it the Platonic theory, or be it the theory of what is called as evolutionary developmental proposition theory. All these 4 theories indicate to one basal fact that this transformation is the hallmark and absolutely a scientific way of transformation which is established. Why is it that facilitation onto this transformation is far more easy in high income group countries? And why is it? It is tardiest, slow, and absolutely non-existing in poorest, weak, and absolutely impoverished countries. Because cultural traditions tide over the economic empowerment and availability in a huge manner. Social customs and traditions, for want of education, turn still out to be the governing force. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to put across is, let us not be guided by individual dimensions. Individual dimensions are absolutely sporadic, inspiring models, but those inspiring models, until and unless become replicable models, become exemplary enough to be emulative, perhaps the things will still be half-hearted. It's in that context, ladies and gentlemen. Indian Medical Association, through a venture of Women Doctors Wing itself, according to me, is an attitudinal change. Not that decentralization power concept was not available. Dr. Ketan Desai himself as a powerhouse has always been a seat of decentralization of power, and not only decentralization, a very ardent leader who has worked out on the collective wisdom of participative decision making and devolution of the power to absolutely the entire fellow men within the domain of his reach. A classical example. But then ultimately that particular result, the resulting in transfer of empowerment is vital. And therefore that transfer of empowerment cannot be worked out only by an attitudinal change. It will be incorporating a behavioral change. And that behavioral change will definitely be a roadmap for feminine empowerment was never in dispute, but a roadway always had roadblocks, road blockades. And therefore it is tiding over those blockades in a sense of committed optimism and committed practicality, which is going to be a hallmark. It cannot be stitched in one way. I totally agree. But then it can be stitched because there is an intention, there is a commitment, there is a milieu, and there is an absolute ambience which can lead the way for it. Believe me, if professional associations like IMA, if they do not take the lead, because ultimately that is an association of professional membership, enlightened membership, prudent membership, absolutely empowered membership at its basic level. Let IMA generate a role model for feminine empowerment in a low or in a middle income group country like India, with such a with the second largest population in the world, which could be a role model for the entire world to emulate, because world itself is being plagued by so many inequities that one model of the developed world cannot be the model for rest of the impoverished world. India and IMA, in my humble opinion, therefore owns a great responsibility of generating a model for the developing world for the purposes of female empowerment, which ultimately amounts to empowerment of humanity as a whole, because this is otherwise going to result in deprivation of one half of the entire mankind and humanism as a whole. It is in that context, let this discussion of today, Dr. Meena, not be construed as a cosmetic ornamental discussion. It's a key which is to be availed for opening the locked house, which has been locked so badly. Let this be a sense of optimism. And therefore, I would like to wind up my epilogue in terms of the prologue that you put across and brilliant disposition of opinions which have been put across, and by virtue of the marvelous disposition of a huge, gigantic intellectual input from the World Medical Association President, respected Dr. Heidi, which will always be echoing in our ears and shall be instilled into our memory in a permanent basis. I only say what Sahil Ludhianvi very categorically had put across, and I am tempted to quote, in काली सदियों के सर से जब रात का आंचल ढलकेगा, जब दुख के बादल पिघलेंगे और सुख का सागर छलकेगा, जब अंबर झूम के नाचेगा और धरती नगमे गाएगी, वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी, वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी, unquote. Instead of waiting for that subah, let us pay our humble contributions for the purposes of being the cause of generating of that subah. Thank you very much. That's all from my side as a part of epilogue.
Pleasure listening to such an eloquent speech and a very, very effective epilogue. I don't have anything more to add, sir. Just a big thanks from all of us at Women Doctors Wing. Thank you, sir. Now we'll go. It's time to conclude the session. So, sir, as a token of our respects, please do accept the Oration Award from the National President and HSG. Thank you, sir. So now we'll go for the vote of thanks by Dr. Bharati Kashyap, the co-chairperson of Women Doctors Wing.
With divine blessings, I wish wellness to one and all present here. On behalf of the dynamic team of Women Doctors Wing, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to the galaxy of esteemed speakers, dignitaries present here who grace this occasion by their auspicious presence. It's not only a pleasure and honor, but a matter of pride too for us to have all the national dignitaries on one platform, and at a time when we all are gathered here to applaud women. We thank Dr. Heidi Stensmiren, President WMA, for taking time off from her busy schedule and for encouraging us by her enlightening talk. We thank Dr. Ketan Desai sir, Chief Patron, National IMA, for keeping his blessings always on us. We thank you, sir, from bottom of our heart. We thank our Honorable National President, Dr. Sajanand Prasad Singh sir, for gracing the occasion despite his very, very busy schedule. Thank you, sir, for encouraging us always. Heartfelt thanks to our revered Honorary Secretary General, Dr. Jayesh Lele sir, and Honorary Finance Secretary, Dr. Anil Goyal sir, Dr. Ravi Wankhetkar sir, the past president, for accepting the invite and making it to this occasion. We are grateful to you, sir. Especially, I have heard from the South Indian WDW leaders that Ravi Wankhetkar sir goes all out to promote women. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra sir. You have really inspired us by your versatility, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful, encouraging speech, sir. Thank you, Dr. S Chanthakumari ma'am, President Foxy. Dr. Chanthakumari is not just a name, but a crusader who, with her unique holistic approach towards women's health and empowerment, has established her own mark, not only in the country, but in the international arena too. Her fortitude and firm resolve has earned her the prestigious post of Treasurer FIGO. She has done the entire medical fraternity proud. Thank you, Dr. Erica Patel, Chairperson Community Service Project, for enlightening us all. And also, I wish to thank our past president, Dr. Lichoda ma'am and Dr. Mona Desai, for giving wonderful talks. A big thank you to our very, very dear National President of Women Doctors Wing, Dr. Meena Wankhetkar ma'am, for leaving no stone unturned in making this mammoth task turn into eventuality. We salute your hard work. Heartfelt thanks to National Co-Chairperson Dr. Neelam Mishra ma'am for honoring us by her presence and giving such a nice talk. We feel delighted to have you both here, madam and sir. And now, the actions speak louder than words. WDW has been enabled to expand its ambit due to the most dynamic and charming National Secretary WDW, Dr. Kavita Ravi, and her team. She works relentlessly and helps us and guides us in all our campaigns. And this is the reason we all want her with us. A big thank you to the National Coordinator, IMA WDW, Dr. Neeta Biani, who has supported us untiringly with her assistance in making this event a great success. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll have the national anthem now. So now we'll have the national anthem. Yogesh.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
So thank you all once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hoping to
Thank
see
you all.
again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Heidi. Thank you, all the other speakers. Thanks for joining in. It was
Thank you so much.
It was a treat listening to you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Meena. And Dr. Kavita Ravi, thank you so much for keeping in touch and slotting in so that we could make this happen. And I'm very proud of you. And now I got to speak to my hospital director who texted me during the time. But it's so nice to see you all. I'm following your work, you know, around the world.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Sir.
Cholo, thanks everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you, Lele,
Heidi,
sir.
and everybody,
Yes.
and compliments to all of you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. Thank you, HSC. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Meena ma'am. And hoping to see Dr. Heidi again. Please
Yes,
be with us again and again. You are truly inspiring.
Thank you,
It's nice
everybody.
to-
Compliments, Meena.
It's very nice to see you. You do such a great work, and also the whole Indian Medical Association is very strong and very important work. I've never been to India, but you do such a great work.
We will definitely invite you. Dr. Heidi will definitely invite you once again.
For a physical meeting, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And meet you in Paris.
Meet you in Paris.
See you in Paris, yes.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
बोलो ये कर लो बहुत बड़ा चीज है
So, Meena ma'am, closing from headquarters. Thank you so much, madam. So relieved that it went on well.
Yes. Congratulations to all.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations to us.
Yes.